All right, so in my previous career, my previous life, I traveled for a living. I've been to 49 different states, and I think there were somewhere around 12 different countries. And let me tell you, obviously, where I live is my favorite place to come back to. And after seeing all these different states and different countries, there's a lot of different reasons why I like them. But I will tell you in this video, I'm going to give you the reasons why I love North Georgia. Hey everybody, my name is Tim Gibson and my channel is all about North Georgia real estate. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe so that we can keep you up to date with what's going on in the real estate market in North Georgia. And if you're thinking about moving to the area, if you're curious about the area, or if you're considering listing your home in North Georgia, please give me a call. My contact info is on the screen. Okay, so without further ado, let's jump into the top 10 reasons why I love living in North Georgia. Now, some of you from the West Coast in particular are going to laugh at me for my number one reason, but hey, I grew up in Florida, and the tallest hill in Florida, not a mountain, a hill, I think is like 328 feet above sea level. So that being said, anything above 320 feet or so is a mountain to me. And guess what? My number one reason for loving living in North Georgia is the mountains. If you have not visited the Appalachian Mountains, obviously Georgia is in the southern end of the Appalachian Mountains. They're beautiful, covered in trees, hardwoods. The views are breathtaking. There's lots of different places in North Georgia to have spectacular views, sometimes from your back porch. But you know, you've got all different sorts of state parks up here. And it's really a great place to sort of get lost and kind of get away from everything. And you know, you can spend time in nature. The fall is incredible in North Georgia. All the leaves change colors. It's really, really great. Because I live in the mountains, I get to just maybe take a weekend or a day just to get away and you know, enjoy nature. Some of the really cool parts of the North Georgia mountains, first and foremost, I would say is the southern terminus of the Appalachian Trail is in North Georgia. I believe it's in Union County. So if you want to hike the entire Appalachian Trail, you can start in Union County, Georgia, and you can get all the way up to Maine. I think it's what, 1,800 miles, something like that. I believe the Georgia section of the Appalachian Trail is around 78 miles or so. And the views on the Appalachian Trail that are actually accessible by road are fantastic. There's a place called Preacher's Rock that's awesome. You can hike up to the top of Blood Mountain, which is the tallest mountain on the Appalachian Trail in Georgia. Unbelievable views there. Brasstown Bald is the tallest mountain in Georgia, and I know you're gonna laugh, but it's like 4,800 feet above sea level, something like that. Great place to visit. There's an overlook on the top of the mountain that's really cool. There's waterfalls all over the place in North Georgia. There is Amicalola Falls, which is the tallest waterfall on the east side of the Mississippi. And I could really go on and on, just an entire video just on the mountains of North Georgia. I would just say if you ever come to spend time here, or if you're thinking about moving to the area, get out into the mountains and just enjoy yourself because the nature here and the scenery is beautiful. So another thing that's kind of interesting, and this is sort of unique to me as a Florida boy growing up in Florida, where I've made this joke before, but there are two seasons in Florida, at least as I remember growing up as a kid. You have the first season, which is hot, and then the second season, which is really hot, and that's pretty much it. In Georgia, which is awesome, you get 4 real seasons. And it may actually be 12 seasons, and I've talked about the 12 seasons of Georgia before. We're currently on the backside of what I like to call the polleny, which is basically like, it looks like snow everywhere, but it's yellow and it's pollen. But really, we've got 4 seasons. Right now, it's probably 70 degrees, 75 degrees outside, perfectly sunny. The entire weekend has been great here in North Georgia. This is April of 2025 that I'm shooting this video. Spring and fall are my 2 favorite seasons in Georgia. The weather is a little cooler. There's not as much humidity in the air, and it's really pretty here. And in the wintertime, if you like snow, or if you want a little bit of snow, but not too much, you know, every once in a while it'll snow here in North Georgia. And the summertime in North Georgia is fantastic. You've got tons of lakes, you got rivers all over the place, plenty of opportunities to get on the water. You can go tubing on the river, on any one of the rivers really in North Georgia. You can get on Lake Lanier, which is the largest lake in North Georgia. And you got lakes all over the place. You got waterfalls all over the place, tons of stuff to do. So summertime is fantastic, and it doesn't really get too oppressively hot in North Georgia until somewhere around late July. And that lasts until about Labor Day or somewhere in mid-September. Number 3 on the list is small town charm. There are no shortage of great small towns in North Georgia. Dahlonega, Blue Ridge, Ellijay, Blairsville, Dawsonville, all these cool towns in North Georgia have their own unique style and their own unique flavor. Each one of them have all kinds of cool community events that go on year round. All of the town squares are pretty cool to visit. Some of the highlights for me as far as town squares go, Dahlonega is one. Blue Ridge is another one. Ball Ground is actually kind of surprisingly cool that most people don't think about. You could check the calendar of events for any one of these towns, see what's going on the square, and just about when the weather's nice on any weekend in North Georgia, there's something going on. There's some sort of festival or there's some sort of event going on the square. And let me know if you need help finding those resources if you're visiting to check out some of these small towns. I'd be happy to help. Now, number 4 on the list, for some of you, you may think this is not a benefit, but I do view this as a benefit. I live in a small town about an hour north of Atlanta, and number 4 on the list is actually proximity to Atlanta. Atlanta is the capital of Georgia, and it's also the largest city in Georgia. I think Metro Atlanta has somewhere around 8 million people, something like that. But what's cool about living an hour outside of Atlanta, if you are in the mountains somewhere, you have access to all of the things that Atlanta has to offer, but you also don't have to deal with it on a day-to-day basis. You may end up having to drive 8 to 10 hours to get to a decent sized city to go do any type of shopping or anything like that. I traveled to Wyoming last year, and we were in a pretty remote location, and I was talking to some of the guys at this ranch, and I said, hey, how long does it take if somebody lives out here and they go to the grocery store if they're not hunting for their food? And he said, well, it's about 3 hours to get to the closest grocery store. So that's one thing that I think is really cool about living in rural North Georgia in the mountains, is that it feels like you're in the middle of nowhere in certain spots, but you can get to the world's largest airport, you can get to a big metropolitan city within an hour and a half, probably max, maybe 2 hours at the most. Number 5, I kind of touched on this a little bit when I talked about the mountains for number 1, but number 5 on the list for me is outdoor adventures. If you like hiking, you can do that in North Georgia. If you like trout fishing, you can do that. There are zip lines, there's rivers, there's lakes everywhere, there's hiking trails everywhere. Mountain biking, hunting, you name it. If you like anything involved with the outdoors, you can find it in North Georgia, and it's all right there in your backyard. Now, some of you that are watching this video, you also may laugh, but number 6 on my list is affordable living. And I always give this disclaimer when I talk about affordable on this channel, primarily because I think the perception is that North Georgia, because it's rural, is objectively inexpensive when compared to other places in the country. And that's not necessarily true, but when you compare the median sales price of a place like, Dahlonega, Georgia, compared to some place where a lot of you are coming from, which is Southwest Florida, like Tampa, Northport, Sarasota, something like that. The median sales price is a whole lot cheaper than a lot of those metropolitan areas in Florida, or really most places in the country. Now, if you're comparing it to some place like rural Iowa or rural like North Dakota or something like that, of course, it's probably going to be a little bit more expensive. But I'm typically comparing the affordability to more metropolitan places or places that are within an hour of a large city like Atlanta. If you have questions about the affordability of North Georgia, homes in North Georgia, median sales price for different areas, please reach out. I can always give you that info pretty quickly. All right, so number 7 on the list is slower pace of life. It ends up being shocking to a lot of you that come from different areas in the country that are really busy, metropolitan, suburban, a lot of stuff going on. And while different locations in North Georgia do have some of that, strip mall type feel, most of it is very rural, like I mentioned. And it's just super nice. Like, people will wave at you. You might drive past somebody's cattle farm and they'll ride by on the tractor and they'll wave at you. For the most part, neighbors know each other, if they want to know each other, of course. And there's room to breathe, You've got your privacy, but you can also connect with people. There's all sorts of cool programs in a lot of these North Georgia towns if you want to get more involved. So I think it's really, really cool to have that little small town feel. All right, so I make this joke a lot. I probably have not made this joke on this channel, but if it tastes like food, I'll eat it, all right? And number 8 on the list is food, right? The food in North Georgia is fantastic. There's mom and pop restaurants everywhere, and a lot of them are really great. You got local produce, you've got dairy farms that you can buy from, you've got cattle farms, there's apple orchards in North Georgia. There's farmers markets, like I mentioned, on the square in just about every town during the harvest season. If you're not a fan of chain restaurants and you want something off the beaten path, you can find it just about anywhere in North Georgia. Next on the list would be a strong sense of community in each town. Everybody, for the most part, that I've seen in just about any of these towns in North Georgia, there's always some sort of strong bond through, some organization, maybe schools, helping out the kids at the schools, rooting on your favorite high school football team, baseball team, whatever. There's tons of nonprofits in the area that are helping out the community for various different reasons. And the bonds are tight in North Georgia, and people really look out for each other. So I think that's a really cool thing that we have here, and that goes along with that small town feel as well. And last but not least, this is just kind of a summary, I guess, of the entire video, but number 10 is that it feels like home. Whether you grew up in North Georgia and you've got generations of family members from the area, or if you've moved here recently, or you're thinking about moving here, there's always something about North Georgia that just makes you feel like it's home. And that's really one of my favorite parts about it. All right, what did you think about this video? Is there something about North Georgia that you love, maybe from visiting here, or if you do live in the area that you wanna share in the comments, please do that below. As always, my number and my email are on the screen, so if you have any questions about the area or a particular area in North Georgia, please reach out. I'd be happy to help. And if you are thinking about listing your home in North Georgia, also please reach out. I would be happy to help with that as well. All right, that's it. We'll see you on the next video. Have a great week.